Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Chris couldn't be here today, so you're stuck with me. I'm Judy Studebaker, in case you don't know. I'm the vice chair of your Regency Oaks Resident Organization Board. And we're also going to be having the quarterly meeting tomorrow, 10 o'clock in here. And I hope that all of you will come and get the reports from all of the committee directors so that you can hear what we've been doing and hope to do what we've been doing this past year and what we hope to do next year. We want to give a big thank you to Joanne McDermott from Grace for sponsoring today. And do you want to say anything?
Thank you, Brent. Hi, I'm Joanne McDermott. I work for Grace Home Care, for those of you that don't know me. It's been an honor and a privilege to work here in the building. Everyone is so wonderful here. It's not work when you love what you do, and that's what, because of you, I love what I do. So thank you for letting us be here. I'm not going to bore you with what I have. All our stuff is here at the table. If you want to reach out to me, I'll be happy to talk to you about Grace Home Care and the services we provide, okay? Thank you all so much for having me. Thank you.
You're welcome to come back with treats any old Tuesday.
All right, I've already given you a plug. Now, from the Employee Gift Fund, is it Robin?
Maybe. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
It's that time of year. The end of the year for the Employee Gift Fund is coming about. And first of all, I would just like to thank the awesome committee that I've had an opportunity to work with for the last 2 years. I wrote their names down because when I'm standing up here looking at your bright and shiny faces, some things don't stick these days. So, Eleanor Fan, Ann Tanner, Carolyn Montgomery, Judy Diver, Andrea Hagner, Alice Quattromani, and Norma Jean Infante. We're going to be very busy for the next couple weeks. This is when our committee comes to life because we have 2 more weeks of opportunities to collect your donations to the gift fund and then add all those up, stir them up, and distribute them by check individually to each eligible associate. It's an exciting time of year. It is so much smoother this year than it was last year because of Dawn Evans. She's listened to what we learned from last year, and we're just so excited. It's going to be great. But what really makes it great is you. If you've given to the Employee Gift Fund already this year, thank you. Everyone will appreciate that. Can you find another $5 somewhere maybe? We're kind of short this year. It's been tough on all of us. But I do encourage you to look into your heart and think about the fact that we are talking about the individuals who enable our lifestyle here. We would not be here if it weren't for them. Thank y'all, all y'all. And if you haven't, oh gosh, you're missing out on a great community opportunity. An opportunity to join with the person to your left and your right, behind you and in front of you, in giving thanks, tangible financial thanks to our associates who enable our life. That's all I've got to say, but watch the thermometers and we'll see how we do. Look into your heart and thank you. Thank you very much.
And without further ado, Frank.
All right, thank you. And you're going to hold on to the mic and rove around with questions? Perfect. All right, good morning, everybody. Good morning. So I wanted to talk a little bit about flu season. I'm more concerned about flu season than I am COVID. So when we look at COVID here at Regency Oaks, we continue to be in really great shape. We don't have a single case of COVID, any kind of variant whatsoever. And so everyone is vaccinated, both the associates and the residents. And so COVID doesn't keep me up at night. I'm more concerned about the flu season. So You may or may not know, here are some interesting facts. Flu season starts on October 2nd and ends on May 20th. Until I did a little research, I had no idea that there were actual dates. I knew there was a flu season, but the CDC actually defines it as those dates. It's going to peak in December and stay high through the month of March. So we're approaching the middle of November. Over the course of the next 2 weeks, we are going to hit the peak of flu season. CDC is predicting that the number of cases is going to be twice the normal baseline. Twice the normal baseline. And they believe that this is going to be the most severe flu season that we've had in 13 years. So, people who have the flu often show these symptoms. I wanted to take just a minute to go through them because they are a little different than what you might see with COVID. And so it's fever or chills, cough, sore throat, runny or snuffy nose, muscle or body aches, headaches, fatigue, and then vomiting and diarrhea. Now, so far this year, that's one of the things that has been prevalent as in terms of symptoms for the residents who have had the flu this year, is it comes with stomach issues. And so you want to look for those symptoms. Some of those symptoms you would see with COVID, right? But not all of those symptoms. And so if you are, let's go to the next slide and talk about prevention. What can you do to help us get on top of, maintain, and prevent the spread of both flu and COVID? And this is a familiar list. You've seen it 1,000 times, but it's worth reviewing with you one more time. Wash your hands frequently and often, minimum of 20 seconds. Cough into your elbow. It's I hate getting in an elevator behind someone with a hack or a sniffle, and that it's like, oh God, please get into your elbow. So remember to do that. Avoid others or congested areas if there are people who are coughing or playing with their nose. Those are dead giveaways. If you are symptomatic, what's the first thing you have to do? Stay home. You have to isolate because this is very, very contagious. We had talked about this particular variant of flu last week and talked about just how contagious it is. So if you are showing any symptoms at all, first thing you want to do is isolate. The second thing you want to do is tell someone. Call your doctor, call me, call Leslie. Early treatment is the secret to preventing having a flu and having an episode of flu that just isn't any fun. And so early intervention is what makes a difference in the level of symptoms. It can be the difference between mild and moderate symptoms and very severe symptoms. So tell someone and do it early. And those are my comments on flu. Construction, what's going on? So right now, my favorite part of any construction project, and I'm stealing this from Fantasy Island a few years ago, the crane. So, as I was walking over, the crane is dangling over the building, and one of the old HVAC units was being lifted away. Jean Beagles, astute as she always is, says to me, "That looks like old 30-year-old equipment." It's like, yeah, it is. It was the old one being removed before the new one can be put in place. So all the sidewalk engineers out there, grab a chair and it'll provide a couple of hours of entertainment today. They are beginning to stucco the exterior of the building. You can see where they've, that far corner on the backside, they've put the banding up So it's designed to mimic what we have, and that's looking pretty good. They also, no one's watching, and you're not on camera. How many have been inside recently? Okay, that's not very many. The flooring is beginning to go down, and the two public bathrooms are down. They're starting on the small kitchen area, and so these finishes are beginning to get overlaid. Interior texture and paint is going to start this week. They have just about finished up all of the drywall. And then finally, the last corner of this roof, they pretty much finished yesterday. And once they set these air conditioners in place, they'll come back and finish the final trim on the flat roofs. So they are making real progress now. This building is enclosed, it's roofed, it has windows, and it will have stucco, which is the sealer, by the end of this week. And when you walk in there, there have been days over the past 5 or 6 months where you'd walk in there and you couldn't find a construction worker. Now you bump into them. So they really are making progress. Would any of you have an interest in doing a Dusty Shoes tour of the building?
Sure.
Is that something you'd like to do?
Yes.
Yeah, I was surprised that so few of you acknowledged being in there. I'm going to take you at your word. But I'll try to set that up with Tim or John this week, and just to arrange for half an hour to walk through. And the construction guys, they have to eat, and so we can do it probably at their one of their breaks or lunchtime, and we'll just see if we can set that up. So, ED hiring update, my replacement, we anticipate having a decision this week. There were a number of applicants. All of them were internal, either from the Regency Oaks campus or LCS as a larger organization. It was a pretty extensive interview process. You had to go first through Sherry and then Jill Sorensen, who's our EVP, Executive Vice President, and then you had an interview with Kelly Jane, who is our Vice President of Marketing, and finally with Kavette, who is our HR Director. If you made it through those 4 interviews, then you got to come and interview with the Board of Directors here, your Executive Committee. And so those interviews occurred yesterday. Initially, there were a field of 7 candidates that we had narrowed down to 3 finalists. And the finalists, as I mentioned, had their interview yesterday. So last night, they started pulling the information together, and everybody is down at a sales conference in Sarasota, and so all the decision makers are right there. So I anticipate getting a quick decision, maybe as soon as Wednesday. So as soon as I know, you will know. I will pass that on. But I can tell you that all 3 of the candidates were incredibly capable and very worthy. I was pleased with the finalists, and I think any one of them is going to be successful. And we'll just keep you up to date as information becomes available. Okay.
Will he look like you?
They may not be quite as handsome, but so you want to present your temporary carpet?
Sure. I know we've shown you I need that, I'm awfully loud. Hearing aid. I know we've shown you samples of temporary carpet for the 3rd and 4th floors that were damaged so severely by fire a couple of times, but one was not available. The other one, Brad and I just decided was ugly. So we went back to the drawing board, and this is it. It has been ordered, so this is it. And I know you can't tell too much from out there, but it has some of the wall color, a touch of bluish gray, and a touch of lighter beige. So I think it will look fine, and it's going to be down for approximately 6 months. So whatever, it is what it is. I don't want to hear about it.
Okay. Interestingly said. How many North Building residents do we have? How many North Building residents who live on the S and M wing? Okay, your fun is getting ready to start. So we are finishing up phase 2. That is scheduled to wrap up today. Phase 3 is underway. Phase 3 is the last 8 apartments that were fully gutted, and they're actually running a little ahead. That wasn't even supposed to start until December 1st and end at the end of January. They're a good 30 days ahead of schedule. I know that doesn't tie with construction, but it's interior construction. So what that means is phase 4, which was scheduled to start in February or March, is moving up, and it's probably going to start right over maybe the week before Christmas. And so we're getting ready to completely upend the S and the M wings, and we're doing it right in the middle of the holiday season. Sorry. But what we're doing in the corridors as part of the renovation is all of the wallpaper will have to be removed. We will come in and texture all the walls and put a finish coat on them, and then everything has to be painted, and then the carpet ripped out and the new permanent carpet replaced. And so this process is going to take about 4 months. It will start mid-December and run into the month of April. We'll try to keep it as livable as we can. But any of you who have seen what's going on in the R wing, you have to crack some eggs to make an omelet, and we're making a pretty big omelet. So
We probably ought to do the 5th floor of the R wing first, so all of them are done.
so that everyone gets to participate in the
Yes,
fun. Yeah.
exactly. Maybe you should put your Christmas decorations out over the Thanksgiving weekend, so at least you can enjoy them for a couple of weeks before you have to take them back in again. And Brad, I have one other question while I have the mic. The walls going around by Ricky's office, will they be getting a second coat?
Yeah.
Okay, because
Yeah.
it looks very thin in spots.
No, yeah, just that's a base coat. Yes, good point. Vinyl replacement, so far in the last week we've had 4 people sign up. This is in addition to those who had expressed or who had notified us that there had been damage related to the hurricane. So we are continuing to expand on that list. If you are interested, we did get a group discount price. So instead of it being $1,900, it's $1,500. It doesn't matter what size, whether you're a small apartment or a large apartment. The cost to replace your vinyls is $1,500. Does not include screens. The vinyls have a shelf life of 5 to 7 years. The screens have shelf lives of between 13, 15 years. So chances are you probably are not going to have to replace your screens. But if you are interested, we do have that group pricing. And then yesterday afternoon, Evan welcomed his second child into the world along with his wife. It's a little girl, and we have no idea what her name is or how big or where she is. But we'll find that out. It was yesterday.
My name is Aspen.
Aspen. Okay. And any birth weight?
8 pounds, something ounces. It was.
Big girl. Okay. All right, so we'll publish that in the Tuesday talk just so that you'll have the current information. We'll give you an address if you'd like to send a baby card. All right, I think, I'd forgotten about that. Jelena Shaw, anyone know the name? So Jelena Shaw was with Brookdale and worked with Chris Bird. She was a vice president underneath Chris Bird. Chris Bird came over to LCS, and a year and a half later, Jelena followed. And Jelena had been running the rental side of LCS as a vice president of operations. She's been promoted. She's now an executive vice president operations, all of senior living management. And so that's an organizational change that impacts us in that Sherry and Jill used to report directly to Chris Bird. They now will be reporting to Jelena, who reports directly to Chris. And so it's an added layer of management. But Jelena has been affiliated with this portfolio for 8 years with Brookdale and the 3 years with Peak. So she's very familiar with our communities, and she's been on site a couple of times. So you may have met her. If that's why I asked if anyone remembered the name. But this is a good move, and I think she's going to bring a lot of value to the organization. As a follow-up from last week, I want to bring these photos, artist renderings, and get your feedback. So this is the Bella Row, and what the conceptual drawing of the copper roof looks like. And Betsy, you can just swivel back and forth between the two views. And so it's a flat roof. It's at a slight incline. You can see the joists here go from small to large so that we can get a bit of a plane.
Is that screened, Brent?
This is screened. We don't necessarily need to do the screen, but the rendering has this with screen. Now here's the problem, and I'll take your input, but I think it's ugly. But if you tell me I'm wrong, I can take it. What do you think?
Fine.
You think it's fine?
What else would be available?
Well, so my objection to that is that it's a pitched flat roof, and I guess they're okay from the ground, but boy, you have an apartment over it, and you're looking at a flat pitched roof, and it's just a sheet of copper. It's like that may not be. It may be more attractive to have some sort of traditional roof structure.
Will it turn green?
Yes. Yes. That's ideally it should. It has that patina of copper.
Is the screen because of the health department regulations, so that when they're preparing food, it won't have flies in it?
Screen is not required. We probably will not do the screen.
If we don't have to have screen, it would look better without the
It
screen.
would look better without the screen. And flip back to the other one. What was that?
At least the rain would go off the backside. On the pitched roof, they're gonna have to have gutters and everything.
Yeah, you can see they sort of thought of that on this backside where the pitch is. It's narrow up here in the front, but they extended it back here so that the water's going to fall pretty far behind us. And I guess you could put in a French drain to catch it or something like that.
What about the rain hitting it? Wouldn't that be noisy?
Yes?
Yeah.
Well, there's not gonna be a lot of people out there.
Yeah. And it's, if it's, that's a great question when you think about it. If it's raining, we probably aren't going to be out there because, no one's going to want to come out and have a pizza in the middle of the rain. But what it does do is it does two things. It keeps the equipment drier, so we'll get greater longevity with the equipment. And more importantly, in the middle of the summer, when it's so dadgum hot out there, our teams are not sitting in a blazing sun. They have some cover.
Brian, what kind of cover does the breezeway have? Is it a flat roof?
It's a pitched roof.
It's like that.
Both sides.
Well, water goes off both sides.
Yeah.
So why can't they make that the same shape as the breezeway roof?
Because it would empty into the patio.
Exactly. That was a concern. Is so.
It could have a, what do you call those things?
Gutter.
Gutters.
Sure. It could have gutters. Yes, it could have gutters. Yeah.
Yeah, that really, I can't imagine the hot sun on a metal thing. I would think that would make it even more hot.
There's enough, because it's open, there's enough ventilation that with a couple of fans, it will actually work pretty well.
Will sun glare off of that into people's apartments?
I'm sure.
Not what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, right, it's a shiny metal object.
Grant, was a comparison done between the cost of that roof and what we might call a regular roof?
No comparison. We just at this point have a conceptual drawing.
Well, they ought to think twice.
Yeah.
We don't really need a copper roof.
Well, I think they should match the roof to the breezeway and put a drain around it, what do you call it?
So that was sort of my feeling. I looked at this, I said, oh, that's really not very attractive. Okay, we in agreement? All right, you want me to go back and get a bid for just a standard roof?
Yeah.
Low profile? Yeah, it doesn't need to be a alpine snow roof.
Yeah.
Right, it just needs to be a little bit of a peak and, okay. All right. We're gonna open it for questions.
I just wanted to say something on that.
Sure.
When we sit out there, depending on where you are, the sun can be an issue, and sometimes it's nice to have shades that they pull down to shelter some people from the, I'm just wondering if off the back side of that somewhere or the front, wherever it's gonna be, it'd be so easy to install some kind of a shade.
Yeah,
Good idea.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
That's all.
yeah,
Now she gets it.
good idea. All right, questions?
Hi, this isn't a question, this is an invitation. I run the library in the North Building, and some of you know I collect trees, not live ones. And I've got like over 200 in my collection. But the ones that are small enough, I put in my glass display case. There's probably 50 in there. So it's really pretty. If you're in the North Building, library's on the 5th floor, before you can't come when it gets torn up. If any of you want to look and see the collection, I welcome you to come up there and take a look. It's really pretty. Thank you.
Any questions?
I have an announcement. Can I make an announcement? Sure. So we've added another Jolly Trolley to our December calendar. Okay, it's going to be December 11th. So please call me by Friday morning because I have to put a deposit down by Friday. They're holding it for us. So anyone wants to go, it's Sunday, December 11th. We're going to leave at 2:30, have lunch, then we're going to do a tour of lights in the Largo Seminole area. So call me in the next couple of days if you'd like to go. Thank you.
So it runs through the night?
Yes.
All right. No more questions. Thank you very much for coming.